Hello and welcome to another Figuarts review. With the incoming release of Kamen Den-O sword form and gun form in its real bone version, as well as the announcement of the flat form and a new version of Momotaro, I thought this would be a good time to take a look back at some of the Kamen Rider Den-O Figuarts. If you haven't done so already, I've already done a video on the 4 basic forms of Den-O, a video on 2 of his final forms, a video on Serenos and New Den-O, and a video of the bunch of Imagine, so be sure to check those out if you haven't done so already. And after this video, I'll also be doing a video reviewing the Den-O motorcycle, as well as having a conclusion in regards to what I think of all of these Figuarts coming together. So don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already, and click the little bell button to be notified of the next video when that comes up. And as always, you can support this channel by watching with ad block turned off or heading over to Patreon and helping out there. Every little bit helps. But as always, if you like what you see here, please leave a comment below what you think about these figures, as well as sharing this video with other people out there who might find this interesting as well. So without further ado, today we have Kamen Rider Gaoh, Kamen Rider Yuuki, and Kamen Rider G Den-O. Now all of these were released by Tamashii Web exclusive, so they're hard to get, and I do remember these being quite expensive back when they were first released, and if you just buy these on their own, they are still relatively expensive compared to all of the other older Figuarts, or specifically older Den-O Figuarts. But since I bought all of the Den-O figures in like a big job lot, these like divided down to a very cheap price. I think on average all of the Den-O figures individually, including the bike, each box individually came down to about 200 Hong Kong dollars or 250 max, so that's pretty awesome price to get for these figures. And if you get it for this price, I probably already recommend it already. And another funny thing with Cantonese, by the way, this guy's called Kamen Rider Gaoh, and Gaoh kind of means poop, but it's a specific word we use for poop that's also used to insult people. And calling someone poop in a way that would translate to, in English, not calling someone a piece of shit, but actually calling someone kind of stupid. So it's a specific word that means poop, but it's used specifically to insult people, calling them quote a retard. That's the equivalent. So he's Kamen Rider re-pooptard. So Cantonese is weird. So yeah, that's something you insult people. It's sort of, but not quite a swear word, like damn it. And so whatever. And he's also copper, or a chrome version of brown. So anyway, let's get on with it. 3 riders, and once again we'll just bring in sword form there for a comparison. But let's take a look at the accessories first, starting off with Kamen Rider Gaoh. Aside from the fists already attached to his body, he also has a pair of spray open / relaxed hands and a pair of item holding hands. He also comes with the belt attachments to hold on to the weapon when it's deassembled, and these just peg into the attachment, much like I think New Den-O or New Den-O figure form. And the attachments themselves do not have any painted details on them whatsoever, which is unfortunate. He also comes with a train pass. The train pass itself is actually molded differently compared to the regular Den-O figures, and he also comes with 2 of them. So both of them are smooth on both sides, outside and the inside, and that's because this set comes with 2 sets of stickers for you to apply. I see here 1 set of sticker has been applied. These 2 sets of stickers are identical, so only 1 set's been applied, and I'm just thinking I'm going to keep the other one not applied for now because why not. And of course he comes with his version of the weapon put together. If I just bring in the regular sword form one for comparison, there's actually subtle differences between the molding. Now the obvious one of course is the blade on the end. I mean, that's just going to be different of course. The overall paint detail, you see much more metallic blue on this, where you have deeper darker blues on the Gaoh one. But on the bottom of the blade here, I noticed that some of these little small dotted details are in fact different. So Gaoh's sword is definitely a new sculpt, so a different artist probably just worked on it, looking at the actual weapon and sculpting it together. There's also no hole here, whereas there's a tiny hole there, so it's a difference. But the overall paintwork of it is still pretty good. Next up with G Den-O, he also comes with a pair of fists, a pair of gun holding hands, relaxed hands, and staff or axe holding hands, as well as a train pass that has no details on it, and swappable bits for the belt to hold on to the attachments. Take a look at his sort of axe thing here with the original sort of axe, Den-O axe form accessory. I think at this point they're just sort of like hooking and chaining it together to whatever form that they have. So just getting the most out of the modularness of the DX toy, so kids can look at that and be like, yeah, I can do that too. Just putting it together. But once again, a lot of the details actually sculpted and molded differently. The tiny details at the tip there are different compared to the original axe. And but they still have most of the color paintwork on it, and overall it still looks pretty good. Same goes for his gun bit. You can see this axe bit actually pops up a lot more compared to Den-O Gun Form's gun. You see that's get pushed down. Once again, I think they're just sort of messing around to see what they've got. But you can see both of them have equal amounts of painted detail, maybe a little bit more on G Den-O's gun. Aside from the fist, he also comes with a pair of weapon holding hands and a pair of spray open hands. He also has an alternate arm attachment for his left arm, which comes with a fist on it, or the mechanical one that's got its own articulation, so it doesn't need any hand swapping. He also comes with a pair of belt attachments, as well as all the attachments with no painted detail on them whatsoever, much like the Kamen Gaoh, as well as one of the new Den-O figures. And he comes with alternative parts to convert him into his different forms. I really hate it when Bandai releases a figure which just has one different piece in it and they call it a new figure and re-releases it. That's annoying, but they haven't done that here. So you can just swap the parts out and you have this rider in both of his forms that you see in the movie. I'm not going to spoil it here. He also comes with this spinny top thing, I've forgotten about it, as well as this soft piece of plastic, a whip, that there's no wiring in it. If it stays in that shape, it's just a very soft piece of plastic. This really nasty looking pirate's bone sword thing, which is painted quite nicely. Hard plastic, so don't try to bend it. And you know, it is a little bit pointy side. And his version of the combination of the sword, of the Den-O sword weapon. And they've got two axes here, so I'm thinking that, you know, if you have two copies of the sword, you got the main body here, you got a second body, you got the Den-O sword thing on the tip, and two axes there. So this is a combination of two swords put together, once again taking advantage of the whole modularness of it, just combining it together. So if you buy two of these packs, you can probably recreate this weapon. If I just bring in regular sword form here, you can see the size difference is so big. So right there, definitely two weapons. And I also noticed that there are also again paint differences there. You see there's some little painted details on the tip on the sword form one, but on this one it's not there. So while the overall look of it looks very painted and nothing's missing, if you just compare it to the regular sword form blade, you can see that it is actually missing a lot of tiny details and not painted on there. So Bandai was just sort of bagging on you not noticing, because like, oh, there's a lot of other details on there, but you're still missing details. Oh well. So from the figures we have here, both Gaoh and Yuuki have die-cast feet, but G Den-O does not, it just has regular plastic feet. And from what I can tell here, now the die-cast feet are going to be the same mold. The sword form here, as well as G Den-O, have the same feet. His lower legs are different, but all the other figures, lower legs, upper legs, up to the underpants area, all the same compared to the regular Den-O figure. And I think the stomach for this one's the same as well. The arms between sword form, Gaoh, and him are also going to be the same, but of course he has the alternative robotic arm right there. And while G Den-O's upper legs and hip area and the arms look very similar to regular Den-O, there's actually a lot of extra sculpted details on him, so it's not the same mold. It's altered from the original mold, but it's not the same. All of them, I think, do have the same neck joint. The basic belt between all of them is going to be the same, but of course the attachment on the front there is going to be a bit different. And there's also like an extra plate there covering the buttons, because obviously they don't have the 4 different forms and buttons to press, but between Gaoh and G they're also going to be the same. And in terms of armor pieces, G Den-O is going to be very different, but but if you're wondering if his antenna bit is going to be the same as Kamen Den-O liner form, they look to be, they're probably the same in the show, but the figures are actually a different sculpt and different mold, so that's a different piece there. It's the middle bit looks the same, but the two edge bits are actually slightly bigger compared to the liner form one, so it is different. For the molding between Yuuki there and Gaoh, the face mask underneath is the same, but of course it has the different face plate on top of that. The armor of course is the same as well, exactly the same in fact, and with this one here you just don't have the two little like teeth things molded onto it. Here I've finally attached his little like neck scarf train track thing, and you see here, despite using a lot of the same parts between these two figures, just with a different color scheme and a few pieces swapped in and out, they look very different And at first glance they look different, but then you think, actually, no, wait a minute, they're using the same armor pieces. Now, Toei and Bandai have been using a lot of same parts recently, and it got a little bit on the silly side with Build and CO. But those are different series, but for here in the show and these toys, because you know they're all from the Den-O line, they're all based on trains, I think it's okay to reuse the same parts, and you know they all look pretty cool. So palette swaps are pretty nice, just for its single series. I also want to add that I'm pretty sure that this arm piece is just a mold or sculpt alteration of the original sword form one, because this undersuit here is going to be the same, just different gold color instead of silver, and the back looks. The back's probably different, like a new mold, but this piece is just built on top. But whatever. The head itself, this whole teeth thing, does look pretty cool, and this weird sort of snake-like or crocodile-like train track thing looks pretty nice as well. So the overall arm molding is pretty cool. It is on an ugly hinge right there, but since it's all black, that's not too noticeable. That's fine. Moving down to the belt here, the coloring is okay, there's no transparent bits here whatsoever, but it's got all the patterns there and the details are there, so that's okay. The rest of him is pretty much just a Kamen Rider Den-O Figuarts, so whatever you know of that one, it's the same here. But it is using the slightly newer joints here that we've seen with Kamen Rider new Den-O figure form, so his legs can't get pulled down, and you got a hinge there, so so this one's probably going to last longer than the older Figuarts. Oh, his belt is a soft piece and it is not glued onto anything, so that's cool. In terms of coloring, the whole copper look of it is pretty good, but I'm not a fan of these sort of goldish pieces. I'm not sure if the color is fading or not, but especially around the back of the helmet here, this copper bit doesn't look that good. Articulation wise, he's got a double neck joint, look very far down, very far up, sideways, sideways. In fact, it's so far you can actually see the gap in the joint there, but whatever, that's cool, love the movements. Again, the shoulder pads are just on little hinges, so dumbbell joint for the arm there, and then get full rotation. Full rotation here, up quite a lot, down, double elbow joint, and it's on a peg and swivel. Torso goes quite a little bit back, sideways, and not too far forward because the arm does get in the way. Leg goes forward, leg goes back, not too far back, butt gets in the way, sideways. Oh, he can do is that perfect split? Almost. Double knee joint, very good. Foot goes forward, down, sideways, full rotation there. Toe goes up, doesn't really want to go down, so no tippy toes for him. So with Yuuki, because he's very much a similar figure, transparent plastic here is kind of cool, like a dark transparent black thing. That's nice. Obviously he's not going to have any compound eye effects with this because the way it's designed, and the little details on the forehead and stuff going all the way back, it's also pretty good as well. Now you can remove this piece for the alternate form, so there's a little bit of like a cut off there where the gap is where the thing plugs in, but it's okay for the most part. His scarf here is a soft-ish plastic, but it does spray out depending on whatever, so it's a little bit hard to plug into the center there, but you know, something you can deal with like hot water or something and just reshape it just a little bit. Like I said, the rest of his arm is pretty much the same as the Gaoh one. The lower legs also the same as well, just done in different colors. This plastic robe piece is attached to the belt, and the belt, I think it's glued down to the underpants area, which I think it's unfortunate. Again, no transparent plastic here, but you know, it's the same mold as the Gaoh belt, just with different paint on it. And then just a quick look at this sort of robotic arm. Like I said, it's got its own hinge, it's got the thumb and the arms, so that's cool, like articulated fingers and stuff, and it's on a little peg and swivel, so that's nice. And here's a quick look at the back. So this robe piece is soft rubbery plastic, but it's got no cuts on it whatsoever, so it will probably hinder articulation just a little bit. But you can see here, it's not too bad. No, he also has this weird ponytail thing which you can remove for the skull version. But anyway, head can go far down, quite far up, sideways, full rotation there. Body, all the body articulation is the same, so I'm going to skip that. And yeah, in terms of legs, he can go that far forward, and he can't really do splits because again, this gets in the way. But otherwise, again, same articulation. G-Den-O, he looks pretty awesome. The helmet looks pretty good. Little bits of painted details here and there. The over coloring is pretty nice as well. The extra stuff that I added on top of the like original Den-O scope is also pretty awesome as well. And yeah, the over coloring is pretty nice, and the whole sort of police like light effect on the eyes is also pretty good. Shoulder pads are just on these little hinges, but I'm not sure what I feel about that. That's hidden okay, I guess. But underneath that, you can see lots of other extra sculpted details on the overall bodysuit, and that's pretty awesome. Metallic coloring behind the logo on this guy here is also pretty good, and the dog face there is also pretty nice as well. Moving down to the belt, you do have transparent piece of plastic there, so that's pretty awesome. And you can see here, his belt attachments are all painted just like some of the original Den-O releases, so that's pretty cool. Unlike some of the other ones that we've seen just now and the new Den-O stuff, a lot of these are not painted, but here they're all painted, so that's awesome. Even its underpants has extra sculpted details, so that's neat. And while the overall look of the upper legs just looks like Den-O, if you look on the side here again, more like bulkier, more angular shapes have been added to make it look more, I guess, armor-like. And same with the feet, more armor there. On the arms themselves, that also has extra little details such as here and this piece there. So overall, just a bulked up version of the Kamen Den-O suit. And even though he's one of the later releases, he uses the older leg joint. There must have been 2 design teams at Bandai at that point, just trying to go back and forth with these designs, like different ideas between the teams, who knows. But the head goes forward quite a lot, not too far back, it does get in the way. Sideways, sideways, full rotation here. Dumbbell jump for the upper shoulders, arm goes up, down, full rotation. And see, does this piece go on its own? No, it's stuck there. Double elbow joint, hands on the pegging swivel. Stomach goes quite far forward because his armor doesn't get in the way this time, so he's got a lot of stomach articulation in there. And like I said, leg goes up, down, forward, back. You do splits pretty much. Double knee joint, foot goes forward, toe goes up. I'm a Den-O fan, I do recommend these Dark Rider villains because I'm pretty sure that there isn't going to be a new version of these made. Maybe Nega Den-O will get one just because he is literally a recolor of sword form with no different parts whatsoever. And even the evil version of Momotaro, like that Dark Imagine, is also a very similar scope and stuff, which I think he got a Figuarts as well, which I don't have, so... And I'm not interested in him at all. I mean, the Nega Den-O suit looks okay, but the character itself is just a complete idiot and just really sucks. All he does the entire movie is sit around and drink wine and be like, oh, everything's going exactly as I want, it's fine, totally fine. While Den-O's outside, like, ruining all of his plans, he's still sitting around going like, it's fine, 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 oh, whoops, I lost. That's Nega Den-O, the story. That's how he gets defeated. He just sits there and does nothing and loses. So I'm not interested in him. But these riders right here, these are cool. It's, again, surprising how much mileage you can get just from altering the color scheme and adding just a little bits of extra details here and there to the suit to make something that looks very different and very unique. I mean, we have a police theme of a dog, and we have an alligator one, or crocodile, and we have one that's like a skull-trained pirate guy, so skeleton thing. Cool. In terms of the coloring on the figures on all these are all pretty... I think Gaoh's the worst one out of the lot, but they're all pretty decent. Lots of different contrast colors, the quality control on these are also pretty decent as well. In terms of accessories, all of them have everything that they need that you see in the movies and what they do, so that's great as well. And articulation wise, they're just as good as the regular Den-O figures. A few bits that are hindered here and there, but overall you can still do a lot of poses with them and they're all pretty awesome. So overall, if you're a Kamen Den-O fan, I definitely recommend picking these up. For its time, these were excellent figures, and for something, and comparing to newer figures these days, they're still pretty decent. Proportion-wise, their hips are still very skinny, but with their bulky armors and stuff, it's not too noticeable. So I think these still look good for what they are. Considering G Den-O came out at the same time as Kamen Rider DN's complete form, this figure looks so much better than DN complete. That DN complete just looks way off of the proportions, and seeing that they both come from the same movie, I think G Den-O came out way better than DN complete form. He just looks pretty excellent for what he is. Subscribe, suggest, and comment below, and of course, take care and have a nice day. I will see you guys soon. Bye bye now.